Hi, I'm Zach from punkguitarlessons.com. Today, we'll be learning Turpentine by Blink-182. We'll be adapting the different guitar parts from the record into one part, probably something like you'd hear if you went to see them live. Now, the reason I'm using this Mustang instead of it's not the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster, but everyone obviously thinks of Tom DeLonge now when they see that color of Stratocaster, is because there's a part where there's a 4-fret reach, and that's really hard for me, so the frets on this Mustang are closer together, so that's why I'm using this guitar. There's different time signatures in this song. It starts in 6/8, most of it is in 8/8, and then there's a bridge in 4/4. So let's get started. So the intro riff is in 6/8, so we count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to play it on the G and B string. The G string gets played open the whole time while we move around on the B string. Starting on the 5th fret, letting go to the 3rd, grabbing the 6th, and letting go to the 3rd again. A good way to think of it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. With the 1, 2, 3 being the 5th fret, the 1, 2 being the transition, and then the last 1, 2 being the 3rd fret. Like this. Not palm muted, but that's just to emphasize. Okay, let's move on to the main riff. So the main riff changes to 8/8 timing. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's very similar to 4/4. It just feels like 4/4 with like a fast double time. The main riff starts with an A minor chord, but instead of grabbing the 1, we're grabbing the 5th fret actually. So 0, 2, 2, 5. Now, at the end of this, it goes to the 3rd fret, so I like to grab that just right away with my middle finger, but be careful not to grab the G, because that'll sound really bad if you do. So behind the 5th fret on that B string, grab that 3rd fret. We're going to move from the 5th to the 6th. And then end on the 3rd fret. Now, if you hit the high E, it sounds really bad, so do what you can to avoid it. If you just want to grab it with your right hand, that's totally fair. From here, it moves to a C, just a C power chord, but we're also grabbing the 5th fret on the B string. And then we're going to grab the 3rd fret from there. So 3, 5, 5, 3. And you're going to use your first finger to grab that 3rd fret again, which can be a little tricky. So most of the time when there's a C in this song, it's doing the same kind of rhythm. And same thing whatever you got to do to avoid that high E. Okay, so let's do the verse. The verse alternates from A minor to C, and generally every time they come around, the guitar does a little something different. So we're going to start with the A minor, just the chord ringing out, 0, 2, 2, 1, and then we're going to go to the C, and we're going to play it the same way we did in the riff before. This next part I'm not 100% on. I think he does this little riff like this. So B and G strings, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 8. Back to that C. All right, so this next part gets played twice in the A minor section. We're going to grab the B, G, and D strings, 5th fret with our first finger, play them in that order. But then when we get to the D string, we're going to grab the 7th fret with our third finger. Then grab the 6th fret of the B string with our middle finger and play those same strings. And we want them to ring out. It goes back to that C, and then it plays it again. Now let's move on to the pre-chorus. The pre-chorus is just a quick bit, 2 guitars. One of them's playing F. You can either play 7, 5, 6 starting on D, or 2, 1, 1 starting on G, which is just the top strings of the F major bar chord. And then there's another guitar palm muting this F, which is the 3rd fret of D. Now, there's effects happening. There's a flanger and or a phaser. Whether they're on the sustained guitar or the palm muted guitar or both, I'm not sure. Now, this palm muting, it'll sound best if you can do all downstrokes, but that can also be pretty tricky because it's pretty fast. So it's something like this. And you want to let go as you reach the end. Now, it's easy to mess that up, so if you want to alternate up and down, you can, but it won't sound as cool. Just so it's kind of like insurance, but it won't sound as cool. All right, let's move on to the chorus. So it starts with that same 0, 2, 2, 5 chord from the main riff. And then it moves to 2, 5, 4, 3. First finger and then pinky, 3rd, middle. It's kind of weird. And then C, just like we've played it before. Then we move to an E minor quickly, and then to an F major. And then it starts over again with, this time the A minor has the 1st fret on it. Now here's where it goes back to 6/8. So we do the 3, 5, 5, 5, and then we do 3, 5, 5, 6 for the last half of that. Then we're into the chorus B. So there's 2 guitar parts here. I'm just going to show you both. One of them is C going to that chord, and then the chord is kind of staccato to accent the rhythm. There's also another part happening that uses these things I call I think they're called harmonic power chords. They're kind of like power chords with a suit of armor, or power chords with a sword and a shield. So instead of grabbing, so like for instance, it goes 7, 8, 10 on the A. And normally we just do 7, 9, 9, 8, 10, 10, 10, 12, 12. But we're going to leave out our 3rd finger, leave out that D string, and then let it get kind of a harmonic sound from our 1st finger, just gracing it without actually pushing down. Versus, and this is like a Blink-182 staple. They use this all the time. So this part rises up with that, where you play there it goes. But you can combine the 2 parts by playing the C on the low E with 8, 10, 10. And then moving to that part, 7x 9 is how it's often written. 8x 10, 10x 12. Now, if you do it this way, the next part's a little trickier. So if I was going to play it live, I would probably do the regular chords for this first section. Because then it sets you up for the next part. We jump right back into that 8/8 time with the same main riff from before. Now, this verse is mostly the same. It's a little different. For example, the first, don't let that first A minor ring out. It just stops. And then, so it goes, no, 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 no. That's like normal, but instead of that first little riff thing, instead of that, we're doing this cool palm mute part. So on A and D, 3-2, and then 3-3, we're going. And I can't, it might be, not sure, but that's what's in place for that A minor section. Then we go back to the C just like normal, and then that section at the end is the same twice, just like the verse before. Then it moves on to the pre-chorus. It's exactly the same as before. Then we move on to the chorus, exactly the same as before. Now when it ends, instead of going back to the main riff, now we go to the 4/4 interlude. So that just means instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to move to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It feels the same. We're just dividing it a little bit differently. Now there's 2 guitar parts here. I'm pretty sure the second guitar part is Mark Hoppus playing guitar. And I bet you when you see them live, Tom will just be doing this. It's the same kind of harmonic power chord. So instead of 3-5-5 on A, we're going to play 3x5. And we're just going to play along. 1, 2, 3. It's just straight ace. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Smash the blood in the water. Do, 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 do. And it's very Tom DeLonge. Okay, from here we go back to the intro riff in 6/8. So remember. And then the rest is in the same place as it is in the intro. And then we go into the final chorus, which is the same, except you just play the B section a little bit longer. So. I think it's twice as long. So that's it. That's the whole song. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I offer private lessons online. Just contact me if you're interested in that. And thank you. This is Punk Guitar Lessons.